I've been interested in the idea of business ever since I got my first Iron Man comic, which was sometime in the early 90s, so yeah, I was a fan of Iron Man before it was cool. I always thought Iron Man was awesome because Tony Stark was a character who was as interesting as Iron Man himself. He had this business that he ran, he looked cool, he was suave, he was sophisticated, he was a genius, and that really appealed to me. I loved the idea of being really important, of running this big business, of not answering to anyone, and of being my own boss. What I discovered as I got older was that I don't naturally lend myself to a corporate environment. I'm not someone who takes orders very well. I'm not someone who likes to be boxed in. I'm probably a creative type, hence why I've ended up making videos and running a website. But that didn't mean I didn't also want to build my way up and have my own business. In fact, I wanted to go straight to the top, and that was part of the problem. I didn't want to climb the corporate ladder. I just wanted to start doing business in my own way. And as it turned out, as I got old enough, thanks to the internet, that would be possible. And that's also why I decided to become an entrepreneur. I set up my own online business as a freelance writer. I learned to program and became an app developer, and I work with Android Authority as a presenter, which has all been really awesome and given me the freedom and the time and the flexibility that I need to work out properly and not be too burned out. And maybe you're interested in starting your own business so that you can spend more time on the things that matter to you, whether that's spending time with family, whether it's working on side projects, whether it's staying in shape, or whether it's traveling the world and working as you go on a little laptop. Ever notice how Batman doesn't work a stressful 9 to 5? It just wouldn't work. I've been able to just fit work around my life instead of the other way round, and it's something that I highly recommend to everyone. And yeah, this is something that more and more people are doing now. In fact, it's got a new name. It's called the gig economy, because people are realizing that thanks to the internet, this is possible, and there's lots of ways that you can start earning an income from the web and build up enough of a stable and secure income that you can safely leave your 9 to 5 job. And that's why I want to share with you in this video. To some people, the term gig economy is more synonymous with these kind of short-term contracts, with working for a business for a set agreed amount of time or for until the completion of a certain project. And this is something that's got a bit more of a bad reputation, and people look at it similar to 0-hour contracts and things, because it is inherently rather unstable. It's less stable, it's less secure than a full-time contract, or even freelancing the way that I'm suggesting. So here you're going to work full-time for a company for a set period of time, but then once that's up, you've then got to quickly find another gig, and until you do, you're not earning any income. So to me, that's a less effective, a less appealing way of being part of this gig economy, of being a freelancer. But of course, that's an option too if you prefer that, and I'm sure there's many perks to that. I'm sure there's many ways you can get that to work. The way I did it is to predominantly become a freelance writer. That's at least how I started out. I went onto forums. Specifically, I went onto Digital Point Forum. More recently, I've used Warrior Forum and Black Hat World. These are forums where people who own websites and who market websites meet and talk, and of course they need people to write for them so that they have something to offer on their website. Of course, when you Google something, you find content, and as a writer, I supply that content. So I was able to find people that needed the work. Another place you can find work like this is Upwork. Another one is People Per Hour, Freelancer.com, even Fiverr. On Fiverr, the whole idea is that you sell things for $5, but what you can do is to say, I'll write you a sentence for $5, and then you charge more if people want more than that. Knowing how to market yourself and promote yourself is crucial here. Sell yourself by talking about previous work and by mentioning all the things your clients will be looking for: reliable delivery, better quality, originality, quick turnaround, etc. The quality of your pitch in these adverts will greatly define your success going forwards. Try and focus on the value proposition. What is it that you're actually offering to them? Ultimately, that's normally going to mean things like better customer satisfaction, higher profits, more turnaround, greater footfall. So point out how the skills that you have will help them to accomplish their business goals. At first, I had lots of clients on the go, but what I actually found in the end was that what suited me was to find an agency, a guy who would sell my work for me, keeping a finder's fee, so I didn't earn as much, but it meant I didn't have to deal with all the admin, all the back and forth emails. And so I set myself my own salary and a target salary that I had to earn every single day. And this guy, he would find the work, so I had a stable income that way, and I'd just supply him with the work, make sure I did my minimum amount every day, and then I'd know I'd earn at least that minimum wage. And then on the side, I could find other clients, and this way it was quite stable. And you need lots of different clients of lots of different kinds and types. So I had clients who would accept work whenever I had it. I had clients that wanted just small bits every now and then, drip feed. I had clients that paid more but wanted less frequent work, and I had clients who paid less but provided me with the frequency. So this allowed me to do as much work as I needed to, and I've never really had a dry spell. And of course, the more experience you can get, the more you can get your work on big websites. You can then show that and you can start to increase your salary. If you're not a writer, then don't worry, you can sell all sorts of other things. You can be a proofreader, you can be a web designer, you can be a programmer, you can be a photographer, you can be a presenter on YouTube, you can be an editor, a video editor, you can be someone who does SEO. There's so many different options, and it doesn't even have to be related to the web. You could be a lawyer online. I had a friend who set himself up lots of different websites. That's another way you can find clients, by the way, set yourself up websites so you've got a portfolio you can show off. Anyways, this friend, he had websites selling all kinds of different gigs that he would do. So he would go and catch fish in people who had overpopulations and then sell them on one day, and then on another day he might do SEO for somebody, search engine optimization. So you can pursue all these different things that interest you, and the main difficult thing is to manage those clients and all that different work coming in to make sure that you have enough when it's a dry spell, but you don't overload yourself and become overworked and overstressed. And that comes down to the way that the clients that you pick. You have to learn to turn down clients. If a client wants to be difficult, if a client wants to have long conversations with you about every single little piece of work that they offer, then I often find it's easier to just say, look, I'm sorry, you seem great, but how about you find those services somewhere else? Here's someone that I can recommend for you. If someone just wants the work, just sends you the money as soon as it's done, those are the kind of clients you want. That's what's going to make our lives a lot easier. And then you need to be strict with yourself. Like I say, if you can find some kind of recurring work, that's going to help an awful lot. And at the same time, if you can find work that you can drip feed, the best kind of work is work that will take your writing or your art or your design whenever you make it. And these things exist as well. One of the hardest things is negotiating salary. Just as bad as having a difficult client is taking on too much work at a cheap price. My first tip for that is don't undervalue yourself. You're worth a lot more than you probably think you are. Also, drive a hard bargain and be willing to walk away. You can always advertise to try and find higher paid work, even if you have enough work at your current rate. And that way, if they don't accept, it doesn't matter. And if they do accept, you can then get your clients to enter a kind of bidding war to see who gets to keep you. If you want to stick with your current clients but increase your rates, this is the trickiest thing to do. And my biggest tip here is to find a way to offer more value for what you're doing. So as a writer in the past, I've done this by saying I'll do an extra proofread, or I'll do more formatting, or I'll work extra hours. And if you can explain how you're increasing the value of what you're offering, then you can charge more. Another option is to sell your work as packages. So you could have a premium option for people who want double proofreading, greater time spent on your work, more formatting, and then you could have a basic range. And you'll find that a lot of people are going to want the premium package. And of course, you can supplement your income in a whole bunch of different ways. You can do part-time work. So you could work part-time in a shop. In fact, I've heard some people say that this is almost a necessity. I personally disagree massively. I think you can more than make up enough money just by doing freelance work. But of course, if you want a little bit of extra security, then doing part-time work is an option. Another thing you can do is to set up forms of passive income. So this is income you make when you're not doing any work, so whilst you're sleeping, whilst you're on holiday. Examples, of course, include things like selling apps which sell whether or not I'm promoting them, having a YouTube channel and having adverts on there so people watch this and earn me money even when I'm not working. So having that passive income provides another backup source of money. Likewise, you could take photos and sell them on stock photography websites, or you could create assets for Unity and sell them on there. I also have a book published and I'm in talks to start publishing another one, so that's another form of work. And I also have a part-time contract, part-time agreement with Android Authority where I work for them 2 days a week spread out over 4 days. So that's another form of income, another form of, choosing what kind of work works for you rather than the other way around. So you can pick and choose different jobs, different gigs, and then create something that works for you. Another thing you need to think about is your outgoings, because when you're a freelancer, you think about money in an entirely different way because you realize just how much you're trading time for income. So if you take a day off to hang out with your friends, or if you finish an hour early, you're actually losing however much money you would have earned in that hour. And likewise, I sometimes think, well, if I buy this thing, then I can work a little bit extra and then earn it, so I haven't really paid for it, or I don't need to consider it as part of my budget. But at the same time, I might think, well, if I don't buy this thing I was going to buy, then I could finish work an hour earlier. So again, you have to really think about how much money you need to live, how much money you want, and then design your business around that and the amount of time you're working. Because of course you can set your own hours, you can choose how much work you have. This is all great, but it is also pressure. You need to be disciplined with yourself. So I always finish enough money that I'm earning, enough to live off, and then on top of that I have like a minimum that I try to earn, and then I have an optimum that I try and earn, and then I have a shoot for the stars that I try and earn. But at the same time, I also see the value of R&D, research and development, so learning new skills, building projects like this one, learning programming, learning video editing better. All these things can help me to charge more in the future and to create new revenue streams. So again, it's all open to interpretation, but if you choose the right clients, if you juggle them correctly, and like I say, if you ditch the ones that are taking up more time than they're worth, I call that communication overhead. Well, I don't call it that, it's called that. Communication overhead is all the time you waste on emails and things. If you can keep that to a minimum and just work, then this is a very stable way to earn your money. Some of my clients have been with me for years and they've provided me with steady income all that time. I have income streams from my apps, from YouTube, that aren't going to go anywhere overnight. So actually, in some ways, being a freelancer is more stable than being employed, because I'm never going to lose all of my income. If you're fired, if your business goes under, then you're going to lose all your money. But if you have your finger in lots of pies, if your business is a freelance business and you do all sorts of different things, if you're a sole trader like me, I mean, what are the chances that all my clients are going to say they don't need me anymore, and then at the same time my apps are going to stop making money and YouTube's going to stop making money? All I have to do is, as soon as I lose one of those big clients, I start looking for others. Long-term clients is probably one of the secrets to making this work for you. Of course, this is where the other crucial aspect of running an online business comes in. If you're going to do this in the long term, you need to be good at what you do. You need to be reliable. You need to stick to deadlines, maintain communication with your clients, and ensure that businesses know they can rely on you.
But I like you. Yes, I like you, Jerry. My wife likes you. You're good to my wife. I will stay with you.
That's great. I'm very happy.
Are you listening?
Yes.
That's one of the biggest problems when trying to find online freelancers, and that's where you'll stand out against the crowd. It's the only way you'll get clients to want to stick around, and it's the only way you can build your contacts list, and it's the only way you'll get recommended to other clients too. And another way you can benefit from this kind of work, from this gig economy, is by not necessarily being a full-time freelancer, but by earning money on the side. So if you've got a job you like, but you're not earning quite enough money, then why not do some work in the evenings, on the commute home even? You can start to supplement your income that way. Once again, it's just seeing that your income isn't tied to your salary. Salary and income aren't the same, and income and wealth certainly aren't the same. And that's how you need to think if you want to design the lifestyle you want and the business that you want. Likewise, you can also use freelancing and gigging as a way to transition between jobs. And in particular, if you lose a job or something, then this is a great way to tide you over until you find another job. And if you're interested in becoming a freelancer or entering the gig economy and you currently work a 9 to 5, then the way to do that is to first do a little bit of work in the evenings or even on your commute home, and then just sell it online when you get back. And then to increase that gradually, eventually you might be able to drop a day of work in your office, maybe work 4 days a week, maybe eventually go part-time, and then only once you've got a stable income and you're sure it works, can you give up your full-time job. This isn't a risky venture. You don't have to just quit your job, I'm quitting, and then hope you find the work online. You can make sure it works and then quit your job. Although, to be honest, there is a lot of work out there. As long as you're skilled, do develop the skills, as long as you're dedicated, as long as you work hard and then you put yourself out there and you know how to market yourself and sell those skills, then there's enough work out there that I think you really don't need to worry, actually. A few of you have asked in the past that I talk about some of the books I have here beside me. Certainly there are a lot of great books that I can recommend if you want to get into freelancing and working online. One such book is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. That's a fantastic one. It tells you how to better manage your work-life balance, how to lower the amount of time you're working whilst getting more profit from that time. Unfortunately, that's a book that's missing from my collection right now, as I lent it out and never got it back. The bastards. Another great one that I do have here is The Personal MBA by Josh Kaufman. This is an MBA in a book, so it attempts to teach you everything you need to know about running a business, and it does a pretty admirable job of that. I highly recommend this one as a way to learn the basics. I also picked up a few tips from Richard Branson's book, but more excitingly and more importantly, stay tuned because I've just signed a contract to write my next book, which is going to be all about navigating the gig economy and working online as a freelancer. So sometime next year that will be available, and I'll be sure to update you about that then. So yeah, really the aim of this video was just to demonstrate that you can start to view your work and your lifestyle slightly differently. Not so clear cut, this is work, this is fun time, because sometimes you can work on fun projects that end up earning you money. And you don't have to say, I'm going to work these set hours. You can work whichever hours you want, spread out throughout the day, spread out throughout the week. I've actually ended up taking Mondays off and working harder Tuesday to Friday. I use Mondays now just to work on the Pioneer, which I believe in the future could earn me a fair amount of money, possibly a full-time income. So this is the way you've got to think. You don't have to be black and white. This is when I work, this is when I'm done, this is my salary. Instead, you can pick and choose jobs, manage them as you like, deal with those difficult clients, get rid of the ones that are too difficult, find the ones that are long-term, develop your skills, and then that way you can design what you want work to look like, you can pursue the things you find interesting, you can create the time to spend with family, friends, hobbies, and for me personally, I just think it's a better way of living. And it's not for everyone, but maybe you do as well, and hopefully this video has inspired you to at least give it a try. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, or if you'd like to see more videos on this topic. Thanks a ton for watching, guys. If you found this video useful, please leave a like, please share it around. Like I say, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you want more on this, on productivity, on technology, but also fitness, bodybuilding, biohacking, transhumanism, nootropics, all the usual stuff. If that sounds good, then thanks a ton for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.